what's going on, and welcome back to another Run Pure update. PGA is back in full swing, and our members have been crushing it with all of the great content we've been putting out. And speaking of crushing it, we had some monster hits this past weekend thanks to our guy Sepp Straka, who was one of AP's top picks for the Honda Classic. The Discord was overflowing with big wins this weekend, including a monster shipper by JN Gingery 912, who won over $275K on DraftKings. AJG 12991 pulled in $100K on DraftKings as well, and of course, AP himself rode Straka to a $50K win to cap off a great PGA weekend for Run Pure Sports. We'll be producing PGA content throughout the week, both free and premium, including main slate and showdowns. So make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss out when we drop any content. And speaking of PGA, we are 1 week away from the Players Championship, one of the biggest events of the year. So let's recap last year's event when Big T took down the PGA Millie Maker.
Anytime I can get 4 par 5s with Bryson, I'll take Bryson still. I'll take my chances, but I'm taking JT at 20 to 1. I don't even care that we like the same dude. I gotta find something in the mid-range here. Let's see.
Take Burns, you take Connors.
Yeah, definitely. I want Connors. I'm taking Sergio at 80 to 1 for my mid-range. Harmon's 225 to 1. Dylan Smith just made fun of me. Sergio, yeah, he's 80 to 1. Dylan Smith, stop. Chris Myers says Big T is going to take advantage of himself tonight. That is not true either. The wife is waiting for me. I guarantee that. So stop.
Yeah, wife's waiting for you.
She texted me during the show asking me when I'm coming up, so stop.
Sign up today for a premium subscription to Run Pure Sports and take advantage of our combo deal with SaberSim to dominate in PGA as well as other sports this year. Access our content for all sports in addition to SaberSim's revolutionary DFS optimizer and projection system for one low monthly price. That's it for this week. As always, we will be back for more. Make sure you guys keep an eye out on Twitter. I've been giving out some PGA winners myself. But with that being said, make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got a new NASCAR show debuting this Sunday, but in the meantime, let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Run Pure Sports, bringing to you once again the Strokes Gang Show. I'm here as always each and every week with my two guys. We got Snyder, we got Hoop. Oh, okay, Hoop's walking away. So we got Snyder. Snyder, what's going on, my man? How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good tonight. It was good to see everybody just crush last week. I mean, everybody was up there. AP with a big win. Couple of those other guys, Justin had the big win. I was sitting like 7th in that $5 for a while, but once Hubbard and Berger kind of fell apart there at the end, my team went spiraling down. But I thought I had a decent chance there. I had Brooks on that team as well. He got out to that strong start. Was looking all right for a while, but I had a decent team on FanDuel. But you guys just smashed. I kind of feel bad for Hoop, but at least another guy got the win there in that event. I seen Hoop was sleeping on the lead there for a couple of days, and then I look over at that single entry and I see Mr. AP in first place there. So that was just absolutely awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun week all around. I mean, we'll all right. I gotta admit, we'll limit the stroking to under 10 minutes for sure, because we spent Monday doing that. It is what it is, but I gotta say, like, before I bring Hoop in, so everyone knows my mom loves to play some DFS. She loves PGA. It's her favorite thing. And what's funny is, I'm telling you, all of you out there, like, she is the biggest Run Pure Sports like fan. Anytime someone is atop of any leaderboard that she's in, because she's literally 4 times a day, she's checking the leaderboards. Anytime that, like, literally could be like 15 minutes into the event, she screenshotted me. She's like, hey, Hoop's in first. All weekend long, I was getting text messages from her about Hoop's winning $250K. I'm like, hold on. We got, like, let's let this.
We got your son
out,
here climbing, Mom.
I mean, but it was, painful to see. But at the same time, I know Hoop had a good week, and Justin Gingrich, shout out to him. Absolute dream, turning what, 120. I mean, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was like
$100 into
140 or
250K?
$120 into 270,000. So I mean, it
270, yeah.
was massive. I mean, that event, yeah, it sucks. I mean, Big T tracked it pretty closely in terms of like the winning. I said I was like a massive favorite, like all day Sunday for the most part. And 4 of my guys hit double or worse on 17. I had Knox, who was cruising right along. I think he picked up a triple on 17. I had Svensson, who picked up a double, and then Kirky picked up a triple, and that was it. I mean, I basically was winning that thing every single round, and it was unfortunate. I mean, the one thing is, I can't complain. I've been, a lot of success so far in PGA. So one bad week of running bad is, expected. So it's fine. And, the one thing that makes that the beat a little bit less is, I get passed up, but guess what? It's a Run Pure Sports member that wins 250,000. Second place, another member that wins 100,000, and then AP climbs in with a $50,000 win. So when you get the bad beat, and members at the website, friends of yours still crush, you feel a little bit better about it, and it just continues. And like AP said, we're not going to sit and stroke each other for 10, 15 minutes here, but it continues an unprecedented run here of PGA success. And we talked about on that Monday show, we really pride ourselves in the product that we've built at Run Pure on the PGA side, and we continue to improve it. We brought in bigger names this year. Tambo obviously was a huge addition to our PGA team. We have more guys getting involved in PGA, offering their takes and really diving into this. We dedicated, big time resources to the showdown content. We have these showdown shows now that we're going to be doing every single week from here on out. So, I mean, we are really dedicating a big chunk of resources to our PGA content. And it's nice to see when it honestly continues to pay off in life-changing ways for so many people. So we're going to continue to put in the work here on the PGA product. Starts tonight, obviously, for the Arnold Palmer, and we're going to go all the way through Sunday with round 4 content. So it's time to get to work, and I'm excited about this one and all the events coming up.
Yeah, just to add on to what Hoop said, if you so many of us do this just for fun. We all want to have that big hit, and it's possible. But a lot of us are doing this for fun, have a good time, entertainment value. PGA DFS is by far the best daily fantasy sport that you can get into it, in my opinion. You got 4 days, more bang for your buck. The sweat is fun. Like, I was tilting Kirky, even though I wasn't looking at the leaderboard that much. I just knew my guys. I didn't really know who, what anyone had around me. I was actually driving at the time, so I wasn't looking, don't text and drive out there. But I had my wife looking and stuff, and she didn't know what to look for. Kirky tripled. I'm like, fuck, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. But no, I mean, it actually helped me. So, because not many people had the workbench play, Sepp Straka. I got to say one thing to all the members, because it could look like a joke at times in Discord. Like, why is AP doing this write-up last minute sometimes on Wednesday? And try to make it fun and stuff. But I literally listen to Snyder. I listen to Hoop. I listen to the Wednesday show, and I read all of our content, and I try to come up with a play that collectively encompasses the guy that I think is going to help to win us a lot of money. And that was Sepp Straka. There was a lot of people. It wasn't just me. It was a lot of us that were on him last week. So I have a bunch of plays already tagged that I feel very good about this week. I got to see where my guys are at. We're not going to give anything like the bench play away on the free show, though. You got to sign up over at runpuresports.com to get that content. Speaking of that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us each and every week, and we appreciate it, and all of you. So, all right, we're at the Arnold Palmer this week. Bay Hill. Tigers won this thing 7 times. Fun event. I think it's going to correlate really well with what we saw last week. Snyder, do your thing. Talk to us about the course.
Yeah, we're back at the API this week. This is going to be another tough test of golf this week, but we do have a much more loaded field this week than last week. The the par 72 track measures 7,466 yards. And once you see the yardage, you kind of automatically go to thinking of bombers here. But I think a lot of these holes require golfers to lay up, and it's going to force a lot of long iron shots here. So definitely looking into that. It's going to feature a lot more, like a higher percentage of long iron shots, like I said, of 200 yards and more. So I'm going to be looking at that for a stat. All the par threes are going to be playing over 200 yards as well this year. I think they've always had 3 playing over 200 yards, but it looks like they moved the one back to 199, and they say it'll play over 200 at times this weekend. So looking at that as a stat as well, par threes over 200 yards, generally tougher stat there. The Bermuda greens here are going to be rolling like super fast. They're talking upwards of like 13, which is almost like Augusta fast. So they're definitely going to be fast here, fast and firm as well. If the winds pick up here, I think it's going to be tough for some of these golfers to hold the greens. Like if you get your ball like on a false front or something, and the ball's just sitting there and the wind picks up, it could be trouble there keeping the ball on the greens. But I've seen early on the rough looks to be playing brutal here as well. They say on the GCSAA site it's going to play at 3 inches, but from some of the pictures I've seen, I think it's going to play all of that and possibly more in some areas here. We're going to see 84 bunkers here. 9 holes are going to have water in play as well. You're going to need to be able to score on these par 5s here. These are the 4 easiest holes on the course, especially 16. 16 is going to feature a birdie rate of right around 50% or higher. Number 18 is going to be the exact opposite of 16. It's going to be the make or break hole. It's going to play the toughest on the course. It features a bogey rate of 21% and an 8% double bogey rate. So, I mean, this term is never going to be done until this final hole is over. I mean, we could see 2, 3, 4 shot swing here at times. I think depending on how people play this throughout the week, I expect the cut to be right around that +3, +4 mark. That's typically what we see for this event. So I'm going to be right around that as well. Again, I think the winning score is going to be right around -9. Maybe it creeps up to 10 or 11, but I think it's going to be right around 9. Some of the other key stats I'll be looking at: strokes gained approach off the tee, bogey avoidance, greens and regulation, and long iron play.
Yeah, very good. Speaking of fast greens, there's a Twitter account out there. I don't, it just kept popping up, so I can't recall who it was, but every day. And then I saw another tweet, like literally probably like 10 minutes before we got on the show. It was just Chris Kirk has missed another 5-foot putt. And it just got me thinking about Kirky and how many putts did that guy miss? I mean, this dude is just striking the ball so well right now. He missed so many putts. But in my opinion, and we're going to talk about him because he's firmly in play this week, but he's close. He's close to getting that win. The ball striking is there. He just needs to bring the putter, especially on day 5. So thank you, Snyder, for that breakdown. I agree with you on all of that. I'm looking at approach, driving distance. I want bombers here, par 5 scoring, ball striking, and around the green play. How we do it each and every week, we're going to go tier by tier, starting with the 10K and up range. Hoop, I'm going to start with you this week. What are you doing with these guys up here? We got no Bryson this week, but we have John Rahm, we have Rory. What are you doing with these guys up top?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, when I opened up pricing this week is you look at it, we're used to seeing John Rahm at the top. He's been the most expensive guy, I think, every time he's teed it up for the last few months, and rightfully so. But then you see a lot of guys that typically haven't been up here. They finally started pricing Rory down a little bit. Now he's 11-1. Hovland's a guy that's typically most events in the 9K range. He's 10-8. Scheffler's been playing phenomenal, but again, a guy that we typically see in the 9K range, he's 10-6. Matsuyama's 10-3. He's kind of been around there recently. So I think the first thought here is I don't think these guys are going to be all that highly owned. I think we're going to see a lot of guys come in. Hovland and Scheffler, I think really could see some pretty low ownership. I don't know exactly what the number is going to be, but I think people are going to look at this and say, hey, do I want to pay 10-8 for Hovland or 9-4 for Zalatoris? Most people will probably go down to a guy like Zalatoris. So first thing I'm saying, I think all these guys probably lower owned than they should be. When I first opened this up, I said it's going to be John Rahm, highest owned guy. He's only $300 more than Rory, but just starting to dig in and listen to some stuff and, read some articles and whatnot, I think it's going to be Rory as the highest owned guy up top. And, the course history for him is phenomenal. Like, he just crushes this course. I think it's always, top tens. I think the last 4 trips here have been top 10. I remember I played him last year. And I think he fell short he did fall short to Bryson, but he was pretty close, I believe. I think if I'm deciding between Rahm and Rory, obviously you guys know I think Rahm's the best player in the world, and I'm going to have, obviously I'm going to be on Rahm. The interesting one is Rory, though, because I don't play a ton of Rory. I think he's super overrated, but there's something about this course that brings out the best of him. But, the fact that it's looking like he's going to be like the highest owned guy, like, to me, Jon Rahm is just a much better golfer than Rory McIlroy. And I think I'm going to play that card here and play Rahm. I don't know what I'm going to do with Rory. I can easily play both. I haven't made my decision on Rory, but I am definitely going to be playing Jon Rahm. And I think there's a chance he comes in way lower owned than he should be. And we've been saying that for a while. So definitely like Rahm. I don't know if I'm going to go the 10-8 with Hovland. I've played a lot of Hovland. The 100K I won a couple weeks ago, had Hovland. I was on him. He was pretty low. I don't know if I can go 10-8 for him. I've also been playing a lot of Scheffler. Scheffler was also on that team that won the 100K a couple weeks ago. But 10-6 now, I don't know if I can go there. And then Matsuyama at 10-3. I don't like him all that much at the price tag. So really, the guy I feel really good about is obviously Jon Rahm. Rory, I'm still open on. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with Rory, but the way it's shaping up for me, it could just end up being a big Jon Rahm week for me. I have to make those decisions on a guy I have to make the biggest decision for me up top is what to do with Rory, and I haven't decided. I'll have all my content up at some point tomorrow, so that decision will be made later for me, but you guys know I'm going to be on Rahm for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Rahm, and I'll get to my opinions in a little bit, but it's like, man, this dude, if you take away around the green game and putting, if you look at everything else, he is like first in every single.
And those are two areas that he's typically solid in. He's typically good around the green. He's typically a good putter. Finally, I mean, the thing that I like about him is he really hit it hard that 4th round of the Genesis. It seemed like everything finally came together. He had that big boy round. I think he was 4 or 5 under that round 4. Can he carry that momentum into this? And I think the answer is yes. And if he does, I think he could win this thing very easily. We like him on tough courses. This is a tough test. Courses where par are good, like he tends to do well at some. I really like Rahm this week.
Gotcha. Snyder. 10K and up range, a lot of decisions. I mean, I think we're all kind of in the same stance when it comes to strategy that we have to make stands. And the nice thing about that with PGA DFS is if you don't hit, there's always next week. And there's a lot of good contests right now. I mean, we have a Millie Maker next week. So, there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to. But what are you doing with this range? Who are you fading? Who are you playing?
Yeah, I was off Rahm last event he played. I ended up making the fade on him. It worked out pretty well for me, but I'm kind of worried I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that this week. I was talking to Big T about it earlier this week. He was kind of saying how he wished he would have faded last week, and it makes it a lot easier to fade this week if you did fade last week. But if you've been playing him all this time, I mean, it's really tough to jump off at this point. The way he's hitting the ball off the tee with the irons, everything just looks to be elite. The thing I do kind of worry about with the putter with him here is these are going to be really fast, grainy Bermuda greens. I mean, if you're off a little bit on these greens, I mean, that could be really bad, I think, here. So I think I'm probably just going to stay off him this week. I mean, it's very scary, very tough decision there. I mean, he's so good every part of his game, but that short game just kind of worries me a little bit still. So I think I'm just going to continue to be off of him. I don't think I can play him and Rory together. And I like Rory a lot more this week, so I'm just going to go down to my guy Rory there. He's priced up pretty big this week compared to what he had been at the Genesis and during the PGA playoffs last year. He'd been in that upper 9K range, low 10K range. But I think I thought it was going to be a good leverage spot. So I thought a lot of people were going to still play Rahm, but I just looked at some ownership rankings, and it looks like Rahm and Rory are both going to be right around that low 20s percentage mark. So I think they're going to both come in right around the same ownership. But I'm just going to have to go with Rory there. I like how he played at the Genesis T10 there, gained strokes across the board there. Has a putter and driver back in near prime Rory form too, it looks like. The course history here is excellent. T10, fifth. He won this event. And then he had a fourth place in his last 4 trips to the API. So I'm going to be on Rory this week over Rahm. It's scary, I know, but I'm just going to have to – that's going to be my stand there up top. Hovland, I think I'm going to be off Hovland too. I mean, it's around the green game with him has been pretty brutal. He's losing an average of 4.3 strokes around the green over his last 5 events. So I think I'm going to get off Hovland and just move down to Scheffler down there. Scheffler's also a minus 115 favorite over Hovland in the betting markets. He's ranking high in all the stat models over the last 24 rounds. He's 3rd in greens and regulation, 5th in tee to green, 6th in par 5 scoring, and 7th in approach. It's been a great start to the season for Scotty. He's finally got that win off his back, so I definitely like him going forward here. And he battled back. He won the Waste Management Open, and then he came right back the next week, finished 7th at the tough Genesis. So definitely like going back to Scotty there. And I'm going to be off Hideki. I don't like playing him when he's over that 10K range, and this just hasn't been the best course history for him here. I think it's an easy fade for me on Hideki, so I think I'm just going to be playing Rory and Scotty in this top tier.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. So, for me, I'm going to make kind of a bold call here. I think when you look at Rory right now and when you look at his game, I mean, he was struggling. And when you look at, like, when this dude was just a disaster, it had everything to do with the putter. The guy could not make a putt. And that would, translate to everything else in his game. And like if he was missing these putts, then the ball striking would go away. The round the green game he'd really struggle. He's gained so many strokes putting over the last, few rounds. Now we're going to get on greens that he's very, very good with. Fast greens. That's what like Rory, dominates when he gets on fast greens. And we're reaching this stretch, this Florida swing, where I think he could just dominate. Like, he's a former Players Champ. The Wells Fargo, a tournament that he just like wins all the time, is going to be coming up. Like the Masters. Obviously, he doesn't have that green jacket. I think he's very live this year. So I'm going to make a bold call on Rory. I think we could see – I love Jon Rahm, big Jon Rahm guy. But one thing that we're seeing often right now is these guys up top are so good that we're just seeing new world number ones. I think Rory is going to hit a stretch, and I'm going to be on him each and every week during this Florida swing. I think there's going to be a change in the guard, and I think he's going to eventually retake that world number one from Jon Rahm. And I think it's going to start with a good performance this week where he could potentially win. I like everything that I see about him right now, from gaining strokes, putting, to how he looked at the Genesis. The ball striking is there. He's obviously long off the tee. I'm just so like what I'm doing, nothing against Jon Rahm. And obviously like Hoop, I wanted to fade him and I still might. I just think there's something a little bit off with his game right now. And I want to play the guy who's trending upwards. And I think that's Rory. And I want to make sure I take a stand this week. I'm not sure if I'll full fade him, but that's where I'm leaning right now with Jon Rahm, and then, going very heavy on Rory and getting leverage that way. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not, convinced of the full fade, but that's just where I'm leaning, especially when you look at Rahm and his splits on this surface. Now, I don't look at that too heavily. I mean, it's Jon Rahm, obviously world number one. I just like the leverage that I'll get, because what we see each and every week, ownership spreads out. Everyone wants to play a bunch of these guys. So if you take stands, I think that's where you get your leverage. Hovland, I'm kind of torn on. I kind of lean fade. Like, it's just, for me, like, I like his game. It's just the history here. He's never finished better than T40. Scotty Scheffler. So this is a new thing. I think Hoop, I got to give you credit for this, but it's like, man, just these guys, when they're playing well and they have all of that momentum going. Scotty Scheffler, why would we fade this guy? I just think he has so much upside, especially on tough golf courses. So Scotty Scheffler's the guy I'm going to play. Hideki, I'm fading. So for me, my 1 and 2, Rory, and then Scheffler. Hoop, did you kind of have a 1 and 2 to sum up?
Well, I mean, you guys know one's going to be Rom for sure, but like the way I'm just looking at some of these numbers, and I have a feeling that, you guys obviously are high on Rory, and I come on here and, willing to make some adjustments to my player pool. Now, if I want to get way over the field on Rom and Rory this week, I think I can do it pretty easily just looking at some things here. It's 144 person or 122 person field, I believe. So a big percentage are making the cut. It would be easy to get over both. And the Rom ownership, I think, is going to continue to drop.
That's a good point right
yeah.
there. I
So
agree with you on.
I might look into something like that, but I mean, for me personally, I just think Rom is the better golfer, and I get everything with Rory. I've been burned by the guy so often where it's just hard for me to play like him over Rom. So we'll see. I mean, that's going to be my biggest decision this week is what to do with Rory, because I feel really good about the rest of these spots in these other tiers. So it's going to be Rom 1. Man, I'm just going to say just Rom for now. We'll see though. I'm going to, I really got to dig in and see what I can find here.
Yeah. I mean, come Sunday or come Wednesday night, I'll be like going through my builds, and it'll just be one of those things where it's like full fading a guy like John Rahm might just be dumb, especially if we're making bold stands, fading a few of these other guys in this range. So I definitely agree with you there, Hoop. Snyder, you're 1 and 2, and then take us down into that 9K range.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rory 1 and then Scotty 2 here. I could be changed on the Rom as the week goes, but right now I'm gonna be on just those 2 guys, as I like quite a few of these guys in these tiers down below it as well. I think for this 9K range, I'm gonna be off Sung Jae. Not gonna play him at 9.9. That's just too priced up, I think, for this field. I am gonna play Will Zalatoris though, right underneath of him. Seems like it might be a little bit of a price hike for him, maybe not, but I think the form he's on is just absolutely really good. T26 second and 6th and 10th in his lone appearance here. He had those 3 finishes and then 10th in his lone appearance here. Number 1 in approach, number 2 in tee to green, number 2 in greens and regulation, and number 7 in bogey avoidance over the last 24 rounds. I think he's just a really good guy. Only thing that comes down to Will Zalatoris though is that putter. I mean, can he just break even putting here? I mean, that's all I'm really asking for from him, is if he can just putt to a 0, and I'll be happy. I think he'll be in contention if he can do that. He'll be right in those final 3 or 4 groups come Sunday if that can pay true. Terrell Hatton, I think he's going to get a little bit of steam. I'm not going to be on him. I really do like Matthew Fitzpatrick, though, right below him for $100 cheaper. It's one of my favorite plays of the week, I think, as well. Great course fit for him. This course is going to play fast and firm. I mean, he loves playing on courses like that. It's going to play tough, which is another good strong suit for him. Recent success here is went 10th, 9th, 2nd. Did miss a cut once, but finished 13th. So he's got 4 of the 5 years he's finished inside the top 13 with a 2nd place. So he was close there. He also enters here with some really good recent form here. 10th at the Waste Management, 6th at Pebble Beach. I think this is a really good spot for him, and I hope people kind of get scared away on the price tag. I think we normally see Fitzpatrick kind of in that 8K range, so I hope people are off of him. And another guy that's kind of priced up here is Mark Leishman, but I think I'm going to be on him as well. I mean, we used to see him in that high 7s, low 8s range. Usually he was 7,900 at the Genesis, did pretty well there. Strong recent form heading in. He's got a 15th, a 16th, a 36th, and a 10th in his last 4 events. And he also holds really good course history here as well. He did miss cut here last year, but over the 4 trips prior to that, he was 2nd, 23rd, 7th, and won this event back in 2017. He's a minus 120 favorite over Hatton in the betting market. So I'm going to be on just those 3 guys here. I think Zalatoris, Fitzpatrick, and Leishman are the guys really standing out to me early on in this week.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on quite a few of those plays, except for Tyrell Hatton. I mean, steamed up. I kind of disagree. Snyder, this is a show where, we're not putting too much emphasis on ownership, because I thought we were all in agreement that it all spreads out because everyone likes to play everyone. With that in mind, Hoop, a loaded 9K range with a lot of very good plays. Snyder mentioned Matt Fitzpatrick, a guy I really like here. What are you doing with these guys? Are you fading anyone? Who's sticking out for you?
Man, this is a week where, last week I think I played more guys than I typically played from week to week. This week, I'm going to have to dig in and try to add guys because there's really not a ton I like. I'm not doing Sung Jae for 9-9. I do like Zalatoris. I think Zalatoris has a chance to make a big leap this year. And, he's looked good so far. 6th at the American Express, 2nd at the Farmers, 26 at the Genesis. That's solid for me at 9-4. So I'm going to be on him. Hatton, first time coming over, it looks like this year. I could potentially be wrong on that, but not playing Hatton. He did win here before, but I believe it was just crazy winds, super difficult conditions, not expected this week. Fitzpatrick, I do like. He's been playing very solid golf. He has had success here. He's a guy I like playing on more difficult tracks. I do think he is going to get a lot of ownership. Everything I've listened to so far this week, everyone is just peeling to Fitzpatrick, and probably rightfully so. And ownership on a guy would never scare me, but I do think he will end up being one of the higher owned guys this week because, like I said, every single thing I've looked at, read, listen to, they're on Fitzpatrick. So he's going to be up there. And then Leishman, he has been playing very solid golf. Don't get me wrong. I haven't played him at all. And probably has been a mistake, but it's one of those situations where I'm stubborn. And if I don't play a guy, I typically don't get on him. So, as it stands now, I probably will be fading him. He's a guy, though, that I could be talked into, to be honest with you. He's a guy that I could, if I need to bring guys back into the player pool, I would consider him. I do like him more than Adam Scott. If I'm going to decide between him and Adam Scott, I do prefer Leishman. A little tidbit on Adam Scott. I don't know, if it circulated a ton, but today he had the short putter with him. And the one rule of DFS, I believe, is when he's with the short putter, you don't play him, right? Isn't he much better with the long stick, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's back. He had the short putter for some reason. He's been playing good. It sounds like he might be going back to the short putter. So when Adam Scott has the short putter, you don't play him. So, yeah, I like Zalatoris, Fitzpatrick, currently out on Leishman, but, I could potentially be on him by the time Thursday hits.
Okay, so you mentioned that Fitzpatrick might be getting steamed up. What, how much? Are you thinking over 20%? 20, 25?
No, not to a point where not to a point where it would affect whether or not I play him. And the thing we always talk about, at least for me, if I like a guy, I'm not fading him because of ownership ever. And what we've seen so far this season with ownership, I don't think it would ever get to a point where I'd fade somebody because of ownership. The ownership continues to get spread out. And I don't remember it being this extreme in the past. Could be wrong. I truly could be wrong. But when you're looking at another week where it's looking like no one is going to be higher than 24, 25%. And to me, that's not chalk. That's not chalk. Chalk to me is when I can't get over the field on a guy, or I can't get over the field on a group of guys. I can easily get over the field on every single guy that I want to play this week. Ownership is at the point in PGA where, to me, it really doesn't matter that much because it's getting spread out. It could change as the PGA season goes on, but as it stands now, I don't think there's any reason to factor in ownership on deciding whether or not you're playing a guy. Get over the field on them and move on. And the way it's been this season, that's why I think we've done so well. It's been so easy to get over the field on everyone. Shit's spread out. So spread out. It's crazy. So ownership will never dictate what I do in PGA.
Yeah, very well said right there. 9K range for me, starting with Will Zalatoris. I agree. Snyder. This guy's just a ball striking machine. He ranks first in approach, 10th last year. The guy's just playing out of his mind. I think he's someone that you can lean on for the consistency and upside. I kind of like the Tyrell Hatton. I'm not sure like where I'm going to land with him, but when you look at Fitzpatrick, even when you look at Leishman, a guy who's won here, and obviously Tyrell Hatton's obviously won here as well. I don't know. I think he's kind of interesting. He's just one of those guys that can, man, when he gets going, he has a ton of upside. But when he tilts, he can also just absolutely dust your lineups. Matt Fitzpatrick, for me, like when you look at this guy's history here, it's hard to overlook, and it's easy to imagine why he's going to be chalk. T10, T9, second, the last 3 years. Missed a cut, then a T13, and now he's hitting his prime. Like he's playing some really good golf. You have to think this is a guy that has winning upside here. So for me, I can't okay, let's just say he's going to be the chalkiest player on the board. And let's just say I understand that he's a guy that can win, but I'm kind of torn. And I like other guys around him. What I might do with a play like that in my 150 is, I don't know, put him around the field, put him at 15 to 20%. And because I know I'm going to make enough cuts to justify that. So he's a guy where at that price with his upside, I just don't think you can really full fade him. I think you position yourself a little bit under, or you go, over like 2 times, 3 times what the field is going to be. And then Mark Leishman is the other guy. So I think I kind of agree with you guys in this range, maybe more Snyder, but I mean, Leishman's another guy just playing so well. If you look at his last 5 tournaments, he's placed, top 15 or better in 3 of the last 5. And obviously former winner here, also has a 2nd place in 2020 and a 7th in 2018. So he's another guy with winning upside. So like how I see my lineups panning out is, Rory, a spend up that I like. And then I want to anchor with one of these guys, a Willie Z, a Matt Fitzpatrick, a Mark Leishman. Because then I think we're going to need multiple pieces from the next 2 ranges, because I think there's just a lot of strong plays there. So, for me, if I had to rank them, this range is tougher for me. If I had to full on rank these guys, I would have to say Matt Fitzpatrick won, even though we're eating some chalk there. And then I would probably say Willie Z, Will Zalatoris. Snyder, you got that kind of 1 and 2 in this range?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be right in lockstep with you there. I like Fitzpatrick number 1. I'm going to get overweight on him, whatever it takes. I'm going to play him. I was really looking forward to playing him the last week before he had to withdraw with that illness. I thought that was going to be a great spot for him as well. Looking forward to playing him this week. And then Will Zalatoris is probably going to be my number 2 as well.
Yeah, very good. Before I kick it to Hoop, producer Simon is I'm going to be on his bad side if I don't touch on a few things. So again, hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button. It helps all of us out, and it makes producer Simon a happy man. So I appreciate all of you. Please do that to help us out. We have a combo package right now with SaberSim. It's only $150, access to everything, RPS content, SaberSim. That's what a lot of us use. I used it last week. I think if you're a medium stakes player and let's just say you have $750 to play a week, or even like $1,000 to play a week in PGA, I think you max the $5. Use SaberSim, use our content, listen to these things. And if you do that, I think you're going to, your end result is going to be very positive. We also have Keg Live. Keg, one of our guys over on the bet side, has a live show package, $40 add-on. NASCAR MMA right now, going on, NBA playoffs. He's covering all of those things, live betting, helping you find an edge. Go sign up for that. Let's get back to it. Hoop, you're 1 and 2 in this range, and then take us down to the AK range.
Yeah, I'm same as you guys, but just flipped. I got Zalatoris and then Fitzpatrick in that range. The AK range, I think, is pretty cut and dry. Like, I love everyone down low, and I hate everyone up top. But that's what the field is going to be doing as well. Like, I don't see many people paying 8-9 for Horschel this week. He's been playing well. He played fine last week, 11th, 6th, 16th. I don't think I can do it, though. If you're a believer in Sam Burns, I'm imagining you're probably going to get him at like the lowest ownership he's been at in a long time. 3 straight missed cuts. His game is in shambles. We're Sammy Burns guys, but I got to see something before I can get back on our boy Burnsy. He's been an absolute disaster as of late. Homa at 8-7 just seems like a crazy price tag to pay for Max Homa in this field. I could be wrong, but I don't have much interest. Taylor Gooch, I was playing a lot of early on. Not a ton of interest here. Henley as well. I'm like, I just think Henley's like too expensive. Now we get to guys I do have interest in. Kokrak, 8.4K. I think he has good course history here. Long off the tee. I definitely like him. DraftKings like must have something personal against Paul Casey because they always keep him at just such a low price tag. He's 8-3 here. He's like 30, 35 to 1, most sports books to win this event. He'll be very, very popular this week. He'll probably be, I'd say, one of the most popular guys on the slate. But I got to play him here. Like at 8-3, I mean, that's like the average cost of a roster spot, a little below the average cost of a roster spot. I think he's a very strong option. I do have a little interest in Sergio. I mean, I don't know how much I'll get to him. I don't think it'll be crazy owned or anything, but I do have some interest in him. Killer Keith is another guy with a pretty poor price tag, I think, at 8-1. I mean, he's had, here's his finishes recently. 12th, 7th cut at the Farmers, 12th, 10th, 9th. His off-the-tee game has been phenomenal, and that is super important at this golf course. And then Tringali, I always play Tringali, so I will have some of him. So, I mean, the story for me in this range is not a ton of interest up top, but I think you're looking at a lot of low-owned guys. So if you do like some guys in this top of the 8K range, you'll get them at low ownership. But, yeah, my interest is definitely in the lower portion of this range, a lot of very solid plays.
Yeah, I mean, so, Keith Mitchell was one of the guys I needed, obviously, in my core. He finished strong on Sunday. I think he even hit it into the drink on 16. I know he made a double, but like he had like a -5 or I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but like he had such a strong round. Like the dude is playing so good. That price tag is like, I don't understand it at all. So, and I mean, his upside here, he's showing T5, T6. So I'm locked arm in arm with Hoopster on that play. What about Snyder, though? I mean, this is, one of those guys that could potentially get that tag. Who knows? What are you doing with this range, Snyder?
Yeah, I think Mitchell was like 4 under through 12 holes there. I mean, he's playing really good. And then before he found the water there, I am going to go up to Billy Horschel, I think, though. I think he will be low owned here. He's got good course history here. He's made 6 of his 7 cuts here. Enters with great form too. He's went 16th, 6th, 11th in his last 3 events leading up to this API. Gained 6.9 strokes tee to green last week. Nearly 6 strokes approach. Last week it was just terrible around the green and terrible putting with him. I mean, Billy Ho's usually the guy we know of having a really good short game, really good around the green, really good putter. I think this is a nice bounce back spot for him in the short game here. If he can continue to hit the ball as well as he did with the irons, I mean, I think he's going to pay off this price tag pretty easily and at low ownership. So I'm definitely looking at him. He hits fairways at a high clip. He plays the long irons really good too. So Billy Ho's a guy I'm going to be looking at up at the top of this range. I'm going to continue to fade Burnsy. I'm not going there. Homa's a guy I need to look into a little more. I mean, the price tag is up there a little bit, but he's a guy that typically plays really well out of the gate. Like the start of the season, he really plays really well, and then he kind of tapers off through the summer and whatnot. But 24th here in 2020, 10th here last year. He was 10th at the Genesis, tougher track, 14th at the Phoenix Open. Good long iron player, plays the par 5s well. So I think I might end up getting on some Homa. I need to dig in a little bit more on him. I think I'm going to be off Gooch this week. I mean, it's a good flop lag spot for him, but I think he's priced up a little bit too much for me here, as I think I'd rather play Homa over Gooch for sure. So that's where I'm going to be there. Russell Henley, I think he's a guy that might get some ownership. He hasn't played here since 2017, and he didn't fare well in his 5 trips here that he made prior to 2017. So I think he's a guy I'm going to X out. Jason Kokrak's a great GPP target. He's coming off of 26 at the Genesis. Priced up a little bit more than where we normally see him, but I mean, he finished 8th here last year, 18th in 2020, and a 10th place finish back in 2019 as well. I think Kokrak's a good GPP upside guy. He can bomb it, hits the long irons really well. Paul Casey's, just like Hoop said, he's kind of underpriced here. I think he'll be kind of a more popular, maybe like a cash type play. He did finish 10th here last year after taking a 3-year break from this event. Finished 9th in 2016 here. Solid form. Finished 15th at the Genesis, inside the top 12 in a couple events overseas. I think I could go to him. Keith Mitchell, definitely a guy I think is underpriced here. I'm going to have quite a bit of conviction on Keith Mitchell this week. Great long iron player, ranks 3rd in par 3, scoring over 200 yards. Top 5 in both bogey avoidance and strokes gained off the tee in this field, and 9th in approach over his last 24 rounds. He's got really good course history here too. He's finished 6th or better in 2 of his last 3 trips here, and he's kind of peaking at the right time. 9th, 10th, and 12th in his last 3 events leading up to the API. So definitely going to have some killer Keith in my player pool. So I'm going to probably play 4 or 5 of these 10 guys in this range.
Yeah, very good. Finally, I have some disagreements with my boy Snyder, which is fine. Starting with Billy Horschel. So Billy Horschel's a guy for me that I just, he's like the king of just smashing in weak fields. We are now at the big boy part of the season where the best golfers in the world are there. We're going to see Billy Horschel start to fade off into the sunset. And I think this recent form, I'm telling like I was on him last week. I liked him. And, obviously he's playing really well. I think he's going to start to fade starting this week. So I'm fading him. I'm going against you, Snyder, on Billy Ho. Sam Burns, I think we all agree he'll get it back. It's just not not the time to play Sammy Burns right now. Like,
just real quick, Snyder, what part of the game fell apart for Burns? I know you dig into the stats. Is it just everything or like one particular thing?
Let me take a look into that.
Take a look. I'm just curious to know if it's just one thing that's holding them back and maybe you can figure it out. But from what I've seen, I think it's everything. Continue on, AP.
I think he had such a phenomenal year that it's like at some point you celebrate, you relax, and you're not, maybe not hitting the range every day. Maybe you're not putting 3-4 hours.
Yeah, it looks like kind of a mixture of everything. He's lost strokes putting in all 3 of those events, lost approach in 2 of the 3, lost off the tee in 2 of the 3. It's just kind of
he's lost. He's got to be the worst play on the board at 8.8K.
I mean, it's like him and Matt Wolf are probably the 2 worst players.
Dude, well, your boy might be. Your boy's got to be close to being done. He's got to be close to being done. Like just.
Oh, he'll be back. But God,
he ended up carding plus 18 or something.
Yeah, do a better with that.
How about George Gank is coming out saying he's never seen him strike the ball better?
Oh yeah.
I played him like a donkey. Not last week. This was a long time ago. But man, hopefully Matt Wolf gets it back. But what was I think Cam? What did he say? There's 10 members that would give him two aside.
Yeah.
In Discord. Oh man, that's such a good comment. Max Homa, a guy I really like. He's playing such good golf right now. You just love his engagement too out there. He's so locked in. I think he just tweeted out that Tiger Woods is still a favorite over him at the Masters. I mean, he's just locked in. He knows where he's at. He's playing really good golf. Someone we should have interest in. I'm fading Gooch. I'm fading Henley. Again, we're getting to that point of the season where the best golfers in the world are here. We're at big boy tracks. Last week was different. It was a weak field, when you looked at everything. This week, not the case at all. Jason Kokrak, 2-time winner last year. This guy could win this thing. This is a tournament that absolutely sets up a course that absolutely sets up so well for him. I think he's one of these guys that you want to be overweight on down here. I'm not saying lock him in or anything like that, but there's a good chance he's going to be in one of my main builds. 8-4 just seems too cheap for a guy that has multiple wins on tour over the last year. Paul Casey, like Hoop, you said it best. What do they do? Like, man, do you remember, like, it wasn't even that long ago. Like, if Casey was ever 8 in the 8K, like, range, he was 35% owned. I mean, that's when we used to see chalk in PGA DFS. We're not seeing that anymore. Do you think there's any chance that we could see, like, when you looked at Paul Casey the last time he played? I know Big T, I know you were on him, Big T was on him, and he was like under 10% owned. I don't think that's going to be the case this week, but what do you think? Where do you think he's going to land ownership wise?
Just seeing it, it's been a weird start to the year. Maybe people adjust as the year goes on, but yeah, like last year in this spot, Paul Casey at 8.3K, 30-1 basically to win the event. You're looking at probably like 30% ownership. And this year, the numbers just come in surprisingly low. Like, I'd have to say like at least 20, but like to me, Paul Casey at this price tag with his odds should be like 30-some%. So you're getting, to me, like a ownership discount right out of the gate. And people will tell you, if you go around the industry and start listening to, oh, Paul Casey is going to be chalk. Paul Casey is going to be chalk. Paul Casey's not going to be chalk for me because I'll be way over the field. It's very simple nowadays just to get over the field on the guys you like. So chalk doesn't matter. I mean, that's the thing that drives me nuts when people talk about like ownership, chalk. That doesn't matter. It's what your ownership is versus what the field is. Okay. So if someone's going to be chalk and you like him, you know what you got to do. It's not that hard to figure it out. So just make the right plays in that way. You don't have to fade someone because they're looking at high ownership. You just have to adjust your ownership, and then it's all worthwhile. So I think he will be probably low 20s. He should be higher though. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I mean, he's such a good play. I think Keith Mitchell, you guys, I think you both agree. You both mentioned him, and yeah, I mean, I will echo all those things that you said. No need to repeat it. Keith Mitchell, just a guy. There's a lot of guys, even a couple in the next range that we're going to talk about tonight. That it's just we keep playing them. Like Cam Young. I don't know, Snyder. Was it you that first mentioned him? Dude is an absolute stud. I watched a ton of golf this weekend. This guy is the real deal, and I'm excited to play him again this week. But before we get into 7K range, let's sum up the 8K range. For me, I gotta say, for me, it's easy. My 1 and 2, it's Killer Keith, my boy. I'm gonna keep riding him. 12th place finish at Pebble Beach, 10th at Phoenix, 9th at Honda. He's a guy that could win. Jason Kokrak, another guy I think could win. It's tough because Paul Casey is up there too, but those are going to be my 1 and 2s. Hoop, you're 1 and 2 in this range.
And I love a lot of these guys, and I'm going to be on them. Yeah, I'll go a different route, like more like for tournaments. I think Tringali has a chance to be pretty low owned here, just because of the guys around him. Like Casey's very strong, Mitchell's very strong. I think Tringali has a chance to go a little overlooked. So I'll say Tringali, and then Paul Casey.
Yeah, very good. Tringali was the one guy I didn't mention, but I was actually just waiting for Hoop's final thoughts on him, and yeah, I'm going to have him in my pool.
Not a tournament. There's not a tournament where I will not.
He's your boy.
That's my boy.
Good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, look, he's played. Actually, he's had more upside than. And there's no knock to Billy Horschel. I've been high on Billy Horschel, and he could smash this week, but he has just as much. He has actually more upside, shown more upside than Billy Horschel, and you're getting a nice discount. So, yeah, I like that call. Snyder, you're 1 and 2, and then take us down into that 7K range.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Keith Mitchell 1, and I'll go Billy Ho number 2. Just I like Kokrak for tournaments. I'm gonna go Billy Ho 2 just for that though. The 7K range.
Real quick, Snyder. Didn't we have? See, this is why I'm so bad and why I don't take bets. Like me and Big T, I'm pretty sure have like so many bets that we made against each other, but we're probably drinking or something, and it never got paid out. And
I came up with the solution though for the show, the in-show bets. The producers book the bets, and they take like a 10% cut on the winner.
That's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying? Because we always make bets and everyone forgets, or 5% or something for the producer.
Didn't we have like
notes. I
said it on a show with Talbot, and he's like, "Oh, I'll produce every show if that's the case."
well, we had a lunch bet, Snyder. Like,
yeah,
do you remember that?
I actually don't remember what. I do remember you saying that now. I can't remember who it was. Last week, I can't. Yeah, I completely drawn a blank there. I know we had a Chipotle bet on something though.
Yeah. But well, I was gonna say for another lunch bet, because I know you and Big T like bet 5K every single week. I can't play those stakes, but I was gonna say, would you give me Coke Rack straight up against Billy Ho?
Yeah, sure. I guess sure. I like both. I like both of the guys, but I mean, I hate betting against my guys.
I'm too soft when it comes to that. I can't take Snyder Bucks. I'll let you and Big T battle.
I just hate betting against my guys. That's what Uncle T and Big T are always trying to get me to bet against my guys once I like another guy more than one of my other guys.
Right, so Big T has, well, you were there, Snyder, but yeah. So there's a company event coming up here pretty soon over at Big T's. And man, I'm telling you, take some money, but the knee houses, Hoop, they hustle you. Like I had them all. Like, I suck at cornhole, and they were all, hey, let's play 20 spot. Then it was a 40 spot, and I'm like getting like wiped out, not even like hitting the board. And
the thing that sucks, you can't dodge them because there's so many knee houses. They come out of everywhere. Like you'll fend off the uncle, then the cousin's there, and then the cousin's boyfriend and the cousin's boyfriend friend. Like, they come at you from all angles. Like, they don't let you off the hook.
The funny thing about that, it's so true. So like I'm never on Facebook or whatever, but ever since I had a Big T on there, you know how like if you ever get on Facebook or any of those things, it says your suggested friends that you should do or whatever.
Yeah.
Every single time, and I like it's like once a week I'll log on and look at it. It's at least 2 out of the 3. I think they show 3 is a knee house. I'm telling you, every single time it is a knee house. So there are so many of them, but they're all great.
I remember we were chilling in the backyard playing basketball and cornhole, and then a group of 4 shows up. Then 10 minutes later, 5 of them come, and then 3 more come, and then 2 come, and some leave, and then more come.
So my other advice to all the other coordinators, whoever's coming, be careful. An attractive lady shows up, you go in and you start, might be his sister, might be Big T's sister. So be very careful with what you do. When it comes to that, you don't want to get yourself into any trouble with Big T himself, because, the scenery is well, no comment there, but I digress. Snyder, you're 1-2, and then, take us down to that, take us into the 7K range.
Yeah, luckily I know to stay away from the cornhole pits against those guys, so I'll have some action in some better spots I like for me. But I think I gave my 1 and 2 from there. It was Keith Mitchell, and then I went Billy Ho. But the 7K range is pretty stacked, I think. I've got quite a few guys I have some interest in down here. I got to start off with my guy Mav here. He's priced at $7,800, the same price as Woodland. I think a lot of people are going to kind of flock to Woodland after that T5 last week. That was his first top 5 in nearly a year. I think Mav's kind of going to go under the radar here, so I'm going to be right back on him. Great long iron player, ranks 8th in par 5s. And the off the tee game has really come around since the start of last year. He kind of struggled here off the tee last year. I think that's going to be much improved this year. He's hitting the irons a lot better to start 2022 as well. So definitely going to have some Mav. I think Bezadenhout, or however you say his name, JSU and Big T's guy, I think he's a solid option here. 25th last week. Solid closing round too. He played really well. I think he shot like 4 under on Sunday. Finished 7th here last year, 18th in the time before. Good guy. He can hit the fairways. I think he can grind out these tougher tracks too. So Bez is fine. Our guy Kirky's right there again off that 7th place finish last week, 14th at the Phoenix Open. He's a -130 favorite over Lanto too in the betting markets. So Kirky's a good option. I'm definitely going to have my guy Cam Young here, though. He gets pretty good price savings here considering where he was last week. I think he was right up the top of the 8Ks last week. So he's down in that mid 7K range. Great last week, great ball striker, great off the tee. He's been really good with the long irons as well. Bermuda grass has been like his preferred surface to putt on too. So I like him heading here. 16th last week, second at the Genesis, both tougher tracks. I think he can contend here, play and pay off this price tag really well. 26th at the Waste Management, 20th at the Farmers. I know Big T's going to be right in my ears giving me shit for playing these Corn Ferry guys, but I see no reason to jump off for him. He's a minus 130 favorite over Keegan Bradley, too, who I think Keegan's fine for GPPs. He's kind of got that boom bust upside. T10 here last year with 5 straight made cuts at this event. I think he's fine.
Wait, Snyder, who was 135, minus 135 versus Keegan?
Cameron Young, minus 130 versus Keegan.
I love that. Cam Young's gonna dust Keegan Bradley.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
kidding me? Oh,
hopefully I can get some big T bucks on that. But I think Hoagie's a fine option here. He might kind of slide under the radar a little bit. He did miss the cut, the Genesis, but had 3 top 15s in his previous 4 starts. Missed cut here last year, but did finish 15th here and 26th in his previous 2 starts here. He's a pretty big favorite in the betting markets over Kevin Kisner, a minus 140 favorite. Ian Poulter, I think he's kind of like the cash type guy. He's kind of a steady Eddie type guy. 7 straight cuts made here, but he's never finished inside the top 20. So I think he's like a safer guy if you want to plug him in there to get a made cut. Lucas Glover made 4 of his last 5 cuts. He's had a couple of top 10s. Made 3 of his last 4 cuts here. Finished in the 30s each time. Lanto, solid starts of the year for him. He's made all 4 of his cuts, 8 straight cuts dating back to last year. 3rd at the Amex, 16th at Pebble. He's 2 for 2 in cuts made here. Finished 21st last year and 36th in 2020 in his previous start here. Sahith, another young gun I like. I've been on him quite a bit this year. And towards the end of last year, I kind of started playing him a little bit. Almost got the win there at the Phoenix Open. Came really close. 5 straight made cuts for him. I think this is a solid upside target in the low 7Ks. So I like Sahith down there, and I think that's going to do me for this 7K range.
Yeah, very good. I mean, man, we got 2 dust balls. The 7.4K range is a brutal one. I'll give me Cam Young over. Remove Kevin Na. Kevin Na has. I mean, he randomly wins all the time, but Patrick Reed, Matt Wolff, just what a rough scene. Yeah, all right, Snyder, we're kind of back on good terms now because I agree with a ton that you had to say in the 7K range. Hoop, talk to us about this range.
Yeah, I mean, Snyder basically hit on all the dudes that I'm playing this week. I mean, Mav, I think might be. We've all been riding him, and 7.8K, seems like too good to be true. Mav might be one of my favorite plays on the board this week. Just absolutely love him. I think he's taken that next step. I think we're starting to see it with him. Just seems just solid all around. There's not a part of his game where he just sucks. He's just a very solid guy. Bezadenhout, the guy that I can't decide on. I don't know. Did you say anything about Connors, Snyder?
No, I haven't been playing him at all this year.
You're gonna stay off him?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can't jump on him now, I don't think.
Yeah, curious to get your take on that AP when it's your turn. But love Kirky. List I'm cool with. Cameron Young, I mean, just an absolute stud. And it's one of those situations. We've been playing him before it was cool, and we're just going to keep riding him. I mean, he's been printing for us. Why get off now? I mean, he's still cheap. He's crushing these, stronger field events. He's crushing at tough courses. He looks very, very solid. So I love Cameron Young. Probably another one of my favorites. The trend is to fade a guy after he wins. Sepp Straka is cheaper this week, 7.3K. He had been solid before the win last week. I think I'm going to keep playing the guys after they win. So I'll be back on Sepp. I don't think he's going to have all that high ownership, and it's a good price tag. Lanto, I agree with Lanto. Thigala. I mean, we've been playing Thigala. Munoz, really like Munoz at 7K. Munoz is one of these guys. He gets on these little streaks where he plays solid golf. And I think we're in the middle of one right now, 39, 23rd, 21st at 3 pretty solid events, Farmers, Waste Management, Genesis. I mean, those were real fields. It wasn't like he was playing in a shitty field event. Like, those were legitimate fields, and he's 7K. Thomas Peters was popular a couple weeks ago. One of those guys that when he comes over here, he tends to suck. But man, I don't know. Like at 7K, I think I want to take some chances on him. I don't think he'll be all that highly owned, so it'll be easy to get over the field. But just a loaded range with some of my favorite guys in this field this week.
Yeah, for me, so let me first talk about Corey Connors and just kind of my thoughts. I mean, obviously, third place here last year. The one thing about him though, like he was playing so well coming up to this event, and then I think also the players
like all year he played well, but he's done bad lately.
He's, for me, it's just pulling his card up right now. Like something's up with him. Like the putter's never very good, but his approach game, he's lost now strokes on approach in consecutive events. So minus 1.5 at the Genesis and minus 2 at the Phoenix Open, and he has 3 missed cuts. Yeah. So he'll get it back. I don't know if this is the event where a lot of these guys are going to miss fairways. That's going to make your approach players it's going to make it even tougher on those type of guys. So I have him currently as a fade. And the one thing too is I'm really trying to make my stands in this 7K range. Like one thing that I think I've done is I've opened it up in the past a little too much in the 7K range. Really easy to do, a very risky, highly volatile range. But just from talking to you guys, talking to Tambo, Big T, all of our guys on the golf team, if you just make stands in this range, I did it last week with my core, Chris Kirk, Keith Mitchell, and Sepp Straka, obviously all lower priced golfers. And then it's just, getting those other plays with the combinations right. So you get this section right, it's going to do really nice things for you as far as your lineups go with the tournament. So for me, Bezaid now, I think Bezaid, this guy, I mean, he is the real deal. He's just so good, so steady, especially when you're on a hard golf course. I don't think he's gonna get enough as much ownership as he deserves. He should have finished stronger, in my opinion, at the Honda. I think he was another one of those guys. He obviously had a monster low 4th round. I think it was the 3rd round because I'm pretty sure I was tilting him, not in Discord, just at the bar having a drink, tilting his round. Yeah, I think he shot like a 75 or 76. Came back on Sunday, had a monster, really low round, got it done for me. That's a ton of momentum that he has. And, I think he had top 10 upside last week. If he was, if he finished T10 or better, this guy is going to be one of the chalkier plays on the slate this week. Since he didn't, I think there's a chance, despite his 7th in T18 over the past 2 years here, I think he goes maybe slightly overlooked. I could be wrong. But he's one of my favorite plays in the 7K range for sure.
Who was that? Sorry, who is that?
Bezaden.
Yeah, see, and that's always a underrated aspect of the previous week's performance. Like it's just a very fine line where some of these guys, if they finish top 10, they're going to be like $600 or $700 cheaper. They don't finish there. Their price comes way down. So I think that is a very important aspect of DF. There's another guy that I had pegged, like similar situation, kind of fell right out of the top 10 or something. Like the price is much lower than it would have been. So that's something to always look at week to week.
Yeah, and I just remember, last year, I think I faded him, and I was just kicking myself. And when you look at him, you get him on a tough track, he's performing and he's getting it done. And he's just this is a guy you're not going to tilt when he's on the putting surface. I watched him roll in so many putts. And shout out again, like if you don't have an ESPN Plus membership, you should. If you have any action and play at all, it just enhances the overall experience because you can watch golf on Thursday and Friday. We have no partnership with ESPN Plus or anything like that. It'd be sweet if we did, but we obviously don't. But it's something I'm watching each and every week. I know these guys are as well. But
phenomenal job. I mean, they had the NBC Gold last year was a disaster. The ESPN Plus is doing it right, and it's a phenomenal viewing experience. I mean, you think about it. There was not a way to watch before 3 p.m. Eastern, or that when the afternoon guys are halfway through the round and then the coverage starts. It's an absolute disaster. ESPN Plus doing a great job.
Yeah, it's incredible. This guy just is phenomenal around the green. So Chris Kirk, the next guy I really like, just going to keep. I think you guys were both on him. The guy is just playing out of his mind right now. But look at his history here: T8, T15, 13th, T12, and then a miscut. And then add in, I don't think he's ever been playing as well as he has been. Like right now, like this is a guy that's going to get a win soon. He was close last week. He missed a lot of under 5 foot putts. That's not always going to be what happens, especially a guy like Chris Kirk that, he took, if you're watching the golf coverage, they talked about it multiple times, but this is a guy that took off time, away from the game. Just he had other problems going on. But he came back and he just spent so much time working on the short game. The ball striking has always been there. It was there last week, one of the best in the field. He's a guy that I absolutely love. Cam Young, Snyder's boy. I'm going to keep playing this guy. I just think he's really good. And this guy is always grinding. It doesn't matter what round he's in. So he's a guy that I'm always looking at in showdown formats as well. Sepp Straka, I'm going back to him. The thing that, we've kind of learned in hoop, Snyder, you both have talked about this on the year, these guys that win, that it didn't come out of nowhere. Like they were coming in with good form. They showed good upside in other previous events on the season, and they're just playing good golf right now. The next week, they're like unowned. No one's playing them. It's not going to take much at all to get overweight the field on Straka. I'm going to have him around 10 to 15%. Not going to be a core play of mine this week. It's hard to win back-to-back, but at 7-3, we don't need a win from him. If he follows it up with a T20 or better, that's exactly what we need. And I think he's capable of doing it. Lanto Griffin, a guy I'm just kind of always playing. Then I got two guys that are kind of a little bit different. Lee Westwood. So I kind of like what I saw last week. It was a T42 finish, nothing like spectacular, but he's an older guy. He's got to get that warm up in. I think it was a perfect warm up event for him. A tough track last week. I think if it plays tough this weekend, if the winner is 9 under, I would not be surprised if Lee Westwood came in and finished 4 under for the week, 5 under for the week, and is right there kind of on the outside looking in. That's been him for a long time now. I think he gets us T15 upside, T10 upside, and he can be kind of that anchor down in this range that can help you win a tournament. And he's kind of a safety net too. Like he doesn't miss a ton of cuts. So, and I don't think many people are going to play him as well. So that's kind of it for me. Lanto Griffin was the other guy. I don't know if I mentioned him, but that's kind of it for me in this range. If I had to rank them, I'm going to say Bezadenhout, and then I'm going to say Chris Kirk, easily my 1 and 2. Hoop, you're 1 and 2 in this range.
Man, some of my favorite plays here. Let's go. I'm going to go, man, Snyder might, if you could punch someone through the computer, he might punch me because I'm taking both his dudes. I'm going Big Mav, number 1, and I'm going Cameron Young, number 2. And it's genuine too. Like those are my 2 favorite dudes here.
Yeah, I mean, Cam, he's, if you just watch him out there, this guy, especially on hard courses, I think he's going to be a guy that we want to continue to target on hard courses, and he can bomb it. He ranks 10th in driving distance relative to this field, which now is a stacked field with guys that can absolutely bomb the ball. Rory, Rahm, Hovland, all those guys. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps all of us out. It keeps our producer Simon happy. With that, Snyder, you're 1 and 2, and then take us down into the 6K range.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cam Young number 1. Another thing I really liked about him last week is he didn't have the greatest round on Saturday. He's kind of a young guy. He could have just mailed it in on Sunday, but no, he comes back, fires like the round of the day, I think, on Sunday. He shot 5 under on Sunday. Really liked how he battled back there. When he could have kind of just laid over and came on to the next week, but he fought for us, so I like that. Cam Young number 1. And then I'm not going to say Mav. I'm going to go I'll go to Sahith Theegala down there at the low 7K range. I do like that Munoz hit that Hoop talked about, though. I was looking at him a little bit. He does rank first in proximity 200 yards and plus over the last 24 rounds. So that's a pretty big key stat I'm looking at this week. So I think that puts Munoz in play for me as well. I didn't hit on him, but there's that. And then dropping down to the 6K range, there's a few guys I like down here. I think there's 6, 7 guys that are definitely in play. I may find some more guys as the next day goes on as well. Dylan Fratelli, I think he's a solid guy down there. Finished T26 or better in 3 of his last 4 events. 18th here in 2020. I think he's a solid option, solid value option down here, entering with a pretty good form. Andrew Putnam finished 4th here last year, has shown some good upside to start the year. 6th at Pebble, 14th at the MX. T48th in his last outing at the Genesis. My guy Taylor Moore's down here too. Got a nice little price savings here after he kind of burned me last week. But I'm going to jump right back to him. T21 at Genesis, 16th at Pebble. He played really good down the stretch of the fall last year as well. So I'm going to jump right back on Taylor Moore here at under 7K. Nick Taylor, Hoops guy. He's going to take on my guys, so I'm going to talk about one of his guys. Just so consistent. I mean, he's just been really consistent as of late. Just a really good sub 7K guy, I think. Sam Ryder, T9, 26th, 23rd, miscut, and 49th in his last 5 events. He did finish 33rd here in 2019. I think he's fine down there. Bo Hostler, another solid guy. I think 3 straight made cuts here. Finished 24th in 2020. Has made 3 of his last 4 cuts coming into this week too, and is coming off a 16th last week and then finished 3rd at Pebble. So I like that for Hostler. Pat Perez, another guy down here, solid recent form. Made 3 of his last 4 cuts. Matt Wallace is an interesting guy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to him, but he's kind of the guy with the really good course form down here, 18th, 24th, and 6th. But the recent form coming into this event is not good at all. So not sure if I'm going to get to him. Probably some other guys down here I'll get to later. I'll be in Discord or something if I find any more guys down here. But we're all wanting to see who AP likes down here. He always smashes these sub 7K guys.
Yeah, I think there's a couple. But I mean, it's kind of been the 7K range this season so far. But yeah, we'll get to it. Hoop 6K range. Who do you like down here? And then just this range in general. We talked about a loaded 7K range, all things relative. Price and everything. But the 6K range, golfers, and then also like, how do you think it's gonna, from a roster construction standpoint, how do you see this range panning out this week?
I think most people stop at 7. Because we have a lot of guys 7K and above. We just talked about a bunch, Munoz, Theegala, Lanto Griffin, all guys in the low 7s, Sepp, and then the mid 7s are loaded too. So I think a lot of people stop at 7, don't even bother coming down here, but I think there are some good options. A lot of the guys Snyder mentioned, like Nick Taylor, I do like. Sam Ryder has been playing some very solid golf. I mean, 23rd, 26th, 9th, the miscut at the Farmers, 49th at the American Express, played, at the Sony, made the cut. So he's been playing solid golf. Svensson, much like Kirky on Sunday, I think they actually played together too. So maybe they're feeding off each other. Couldn't make a fucking putt. And, he was on my main team. Just those guys just kept missing putts, but his irons were spot on. I mean, he was putting that thing right there almost every time.
So I'll be on him again. Like Cam Davis, I think is also interesting at 6'6". Patton Kazire is a guy. Pendrith. I think Pendrith is solid at 6.5K. 3 out of his last 4 cuts. And I mean, you're really just looking for a made cut in this range. Matt Wallace, I think, has some good court man, but he's been bad. 70, he finished up, missed the cut at the Waste Management, a 76 in round 2, and then missed the cut at the Genesis, a 79 in round 2. I don't think I can go to Mr. Wallace. Grayson Sig at 6.3K. I'd made 4 cuts in a row and just didn't have it last week. Probably give him the pass, and I'll play him some this week. Then one other guy I'm going to mention, I think Snyder will get excited about, and I think he'll put him in his player pool at, where is he? 6.1K. Our boy Malnati down here, 6.1K. 4 straight made cuts, 2 of those T26 or better. So a lot of guys down here, all going to be. I think everyone down here is going to be low. And I don't think there's anyone under 7K that will have any sort of substantial ownership.
You want to play like a Rom and Rory lineup? You just plug in Malnati, and that kind of opens that lineup up. Even I think.
Yeah. I mean, most people won't come down here, so there's definitely ways to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem like with the Rom Rory lineup is like you're having to now fade. I mean, we talked about all the good plays in the 9K range, 8K range, 7K range. You're like, I think for me, it's I've been thinking about it while we're on the show, and I know I started off the show talking about fading Rom, but honestly, you could just go. You could literally go 50-50 on Rory Rom, and then just go. You're way overweight the field if you go 50-50, and then mix and match all these other plays that we talked about. You're going to be overweight the field with that strategy, and I think it's one that looks pretty good. This 6K range, I do think gets kind of tough. I'm kind of torn on what I want to do. I might make a group which limits how many of these guys are in my build. So maybe limits one of them per build. I'm looking at Andrew Putnam. I think he's a fine play. Carlos Ortiz, this guy can bomb it. Like he can hang in these events where you want bombers, and he's good on par 5s. So he's a guy that can score on par 5s and eagle birdie upside. So he's a guy I'm looking at. Hoop, your boy Nick Taylor. I love him this week. He's kind of probably one of my favorite plays down in this range. I think so. Speaking of Canadians, Nick Taylor really reminds me of your boy. We were just talking about him. We're off from this week. Who is that?
Which guy? What range?
Connors. Corey Connors,
Yeah.
The other very good Canadian. So, like, if you look at those two guys, their game, in my opinion, is very similar when it comes to ball striking, struggling on the greens at times. I think Nick Taylor is like a cheap, poor man's version and better version of Corey Connors with his current form right now. So I have a ton of interest in him. He also has, I believe decent history here. I don't have it up right in front of me. Dylan Fratelli, a guy I want just a little bit of it. 3 of his last 5 events have been T25 or better. Garrick Higo is one of those guys that's like he had a bad round. I think maybe it was a bad weekend last week, but as a last guy in type piece, I'm fine with it. So you have your other 5 guys that you like. If you land on Higo, he's a guy that's a 3-time winner, obviously has upside. And so 2 of those wins, I believe, came on the European Tour, 1 PGA Tour win. So I think as a last man in, as a guy that's really working on his game, trying to find that form, is a guy I'm fine with. Bo Hostler, Adam Svensson. I thought he looked really good last week outside of putting. Aaron Rye, I'm going to go back. Snyder's boy, 2 glove, 2 condom. Aaron Rye, gonna go back to him. He had a meltdown. It looked awesome until that meltdown. And then I think you both mentioned Matt Wallace. So like Matt Wallace, tough form, but man, there's just these times where these guys love courses where they're at. and it's hard to overlook his price. And then when you look at the T18, T24, T6 here, that is very good history. And we've seen we've seen the Euros win here, and obviously Mark Leishman, Australian, he's won here also. So like these guys are comfortable with these setups. So I think Matt Wallace is a guy that is fine down here in this cheap range, even though his form coming into this event is somewhat questionable. I think he's a guy, good iron player. If the course plays tough, I think it's going to benefit a guy like him. It's tough. I got to say, though, like notebook play, I got to go Nick Taylor. I really like where he's at right now. I think he's going to grind out, make a cut, and I think he's going to post a good top 30 finish this week, which could be a nice anchor, could free up a lot in your build. So Nick Taylor is going to be the guy that I like down in this range. Hoop, 1 and 2, or just an overall favorite play in this range?
Let's see. Got some guys down here. I'm gonna go. Give me Patton Kazire. I like Kazire, and then Taylor Pendrith.
Yeah, I like that. Snyder, you're 1 and 2 down in this range, or you're one or two, whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna go Taylor Moore and Dylan Fratelli.
Yeah, I like that Fratelli call. I think that's 3 out of the last 5 events, T25 or better. Pretty impressive out of him for his price. All right, boys, very good. Let's go on to our winners. Who we think is going to win, and then a longer shot. Hoop, I'm going to start with you this week. Who do you got winning this thing?
Ooh, all right. I'm gonna go. I think. Let's see. I'm gonna go with Jason Kokrak. I really like Kokrak this week. He has winning upside. He has good course history here, so he's going to be one of my guys. And I'm going to go two guys kind of in this range. The other guy's going to be Tringali. When Tringali's made cuts this year, he has contended He's made 3 out of his last 5 cuts. Those have resulted in a 7th, a 3rd, and a 13th. So. I like Kokrak and Tringali to one of those 2 guys to ship this week.
Yeah, I like both those calls. Kokrak was one of the guys that I was thinking about taking, actually. So like that quite a bit. Snyder, who do you have winning this week?
I'm going to go with Matthew Fitzpatrick. Over at, DraftKings doesn't have the goodest or the good line on Fitzpatrick. Like they got the worst line I think I've seen. They got him at 20-1, but over at FanDuel and many other spots, you can get upwards of 29-30 on Matthew Fitzpatrick. So I like Fitzpatrick at 29-1 over on FanDuel. And I like Cameron Young down there for a long shot at 80-1 here.
Yeah. Man, I would be impressed if Cam Young won. That would be very impressive. So for me, I think we're going to see a non-U.S. player win. We've seen, if you take Tiger Woods out, we've seen a lot of European players win, Australia, South Africa, South African. We've seen a lot of these guys win here, contend, tough course. I just think Rory's going to be the guy. I know, like, betting-wise, not very sexy, not very attractive at all, but I have Rory winning as kind of just that guy overall. And then I'm just pulling up the odds right now. I have Bezuidenhout, 66-1, I believe, the odds on him. So I think he's going to do what Ernie Els did not too long ago. I had it up in front of me. So 2010, Ernie Els won this thing. I think this year Bezuidenhout's going to get his win this week and do it for us. I will say, Hoop, you took my other bill. Jason Kokrak was the other guy that I really liked to get a win this week. I think those guys are all phenomenal bets. You throw Cam Young in there too. I think he's a good bet too. He's going to be right in the mix for sure. Snyder, any final thoughts for this week?
Not too much. Looking forward to another tough event. I like when these courses kind of humble some of these guys. You see some more carnage out there and some lower scoring, but really looking forward to the showdown product we got going. I think we got some pretty good news coming forward. I'm not sure if it's live yet or not, but definitely looking forward to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got the 3 shows coming. Me and Hoop have been doing the Thursday show. Big T joined us last week. So, I mean, it's really good. We break down the whole slate. I've got the Showdown playbook on the website for members only, but the show will be free on Thursday and Friday, though.
And I'm showing, so shout out to Earwig on Bovada, Jason Kokrak, even money against Sam Burns. That's
free cheese right there.
That is free cheese. Hoop, your final thoughts, and also talk about expand on what Snyder said and talk about the rest of the content that we have going on this week.
Yeah, so obviously all our main slate content should be rolling out. Usually it's Wednesday morning throughout the afternoon. Everyone gets all their stuff up. And then tomorrow night we'll be going live. I don't know who's on the show, but it's going to be some combination of our PGA crew covering the round 2 showdown. And then we'll have a Friday crew covering round 3. And then on Saturday night will be the premium show that covers round 4. So you'll be able to watch rounds 2 and 3 for free. And then round 4, which is the Saturday show, will be part of the premium product at Run Pier. We'll have the playbook, like Snyder said, for each round as well. And like we talked about in the opening, we're putting a big emphasis and dedicating a lot of resources to creating the best PGA product in the industry. I think we already have it. But we're working to improve it as well. So, become a member and continue to print. I mean, we've had more PGA winners than I think any other sport combined. It's been a massive PGA season for our team and our members. And I have a feeling that it is going to continue.
Yeah, very well said. And that's why I had you say it, because you say it better than I do. I agree with everything both of you guys said. So, fantastic show tonight. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down there. That red button in the right-hand corner helps us out a ton. With that said, let's have another week. I mean, golf right now is a ton of fun. I want to see more screenshots, obviously for myself, but I want to see more community screenshots. That's what gets me excited. When members win, when they ship, when we see everyone out there getting life-changing money, that's what gets us excited over here at Run Pier Sports. With that said, Simon, get us out of here.